Power 1000 Mini has a lot to live up to. DJI has been known to put tons of R&D into the products that they release, and their original power stations that they launched into the market with were quite good. And when the Mini landed here at the lab, we thought it was pretty impressive. But is it? Or is some of this stuff just a gimmick? Go back in, you fucker. So welcome back to the lab where our opinions cannot be bought. DJI claims that this is the world's smallest and most compact 1 kilowatt hour power station, but honestly, it feels like everybody lately has been claiming that their power station is the smallest and lightest, whatever size it is. That's not what's important when you're getting a power station. What's important is if it performs the way you need it to and if it's a good value. So that is what we have been trying to find out with this unit here at the lab. As always, we'll leave links in the description down below to this and any discount codes we can get to help save you guys any money, as well as our power station quiz. If you're not entirely sure what power station is best for you, 30-second quiz gives you an instant recommendation. But before we get into our experience with the all new Power 1000 Mini, we're gonna hit you guys with a super quick spec teardown to get you up to speed on DJI's latest innovation. First up, this thing easily passes the tiny baby lift test. It weighs 25 pounds. It has a 1000 watt hour battery, which is not expandable. It has an 800 watt inverter, meaning you can pull up to 800 watts out of all of these plugs at one time. In terms of getting power into this thing, you can plug it into a regular wall plug in your home and charge it up. At 800 watts, you can also set it to do a fast charge at 1000 watts, which will basically charge it from 0 to full in about an hour. You can also charge this thing with solar panels. That will take a little bit longer. It's about 2.5 hours to do that because it only has a 400 watt solar input. In terms of plugs and ports on this guy, you have one regular 120 volt house plug right here with the ground. Then you have 3 ungrounded 120 volt house plugs. This right here is where your AC plug goes in to charge the unit up. This is your SDC port. So this is like a DJI proprietary plug. A lot of their drones and stuff, they have a lot of adapters that just go into this port right here. And you can do things like fast charge your drones. You can plug in like a 12 volt car socket into that adapter. Other power stations, that's what you would use to plug in an expansion battery. Tons of use cases for this. Here, it's cool because it's not just a high-speed DC port, but there's also communication there for specific things like their drones and whatever. You have 2 USB-A's and 1 USB-C, which is an interesting choice in 2026. And you have your retractable 100 watt, how long is this? Like 2 feet, 2.5 feet?
3 feet, I'd say. That looks like 3 feet.
3 feet? It's about this long and it's a retractable cord. It means that no matter what situation you get yourself into, most things these days are USB-C. If you forgot all cords, you don't have to worry about it because you have one built in. It has DJI's classic screen, looks good, it's nice and bright, easy to read, has classic DJI sounds. It just feels comfortable and familiar. And for the first time, DJI has put a light on their power station. So great job. That is a very huge thing. Otherwise, that's it. There's no plugs or ports on the back, the sides, whatever. You got your tiny little vents right here. You got your handle. Like the overall build is very similar to what we're used to seeing from DJI. It's kind of more like their 500, but with bigger specs. It works with DJI's app, which is nice. You can go in there and change some settings that you can't change directly from the unit, like the charge speed, screen timeout, update it, that kind of stuff. And right now, at the time of filming, with our discount code, you can get the DJI Power 1000 Mini for $427. Jumping right into things that we like about this Power 1000 Mini, the first one has got to be the light. Thank you, DJI, for listening to us and actually incorporating a light on your power station. It is so much more useful than I think most people anticipate. Having a light on a unit like this, even especially when like the power's out, you're trying to carry it around, figure stuff out, even just see what you're doing directly in front of it. Having a light makes a huge difference. And they made this one kind of cool in the fact that it does a SOS mode. And it also, when the power station is done charging, it'll flash to kind of get your attention. So they incorporated it into the unit a little bit more than just having it be a light. We also really like this retractable cable. DJI says this is an industry first. And I think in terms of a power station with AC plugs like this, they might be right. It isn't uncommon for us to see it in things like this though. This is like a power bank. We've been seeing retractable cables come out of these power banks for a little while now. It's super handy to have. Honestly, that's one of my favorite things about these, but it is just really, really handy. If you have this anywhere in your car or on your desk or whatever. You don't need to hunt for cables. You just take this thing, you can plug it into your phone, charge it up. You can charge the unit through this cable very, very slowly, but you can still put power into the unit through this, which is nice. It doesn't retract all that well, but we also like that, well, I don't know if it is the world's smallest, most compact 1 kilowatt hour power station, but it is lighter and smaller than the Power 1000 V2. So if you're looking for something with decent capabilities, but you wanted it to still be kind of small because you're a creator, you're on the go or whatever, this is actually a really nice option. This unit also makes a really good UPS, uninterrupted power source. So if you had this on your desk and you had AC power going into it and then your desktop computer plugged in, you could just be sitting there doing your work, and when your power goes out, it will keep your computer running. You won't lose your work, you won't lose where you were at. So something like this is great in like a home office or an apartment building. If you're having a building built near you, they always knock the power out in your building. This will help you keep on whatever it is that you're trying to keep on during the day. It's very great for that. And we also like that this is safe for operation in the rain and a wet environment, stuff like that. They enclosed the inverter internally. That's something that we can show you. It's a little bit of a different approach to doing so, but basically this thing, assuming that you don't get water jets directly across the front of it into your plugs and ports, if you just had it outside and it was a little bit rainy or whatever like that, it's not gonna ruin it. And the final thing that we really, really liked about this power station was the testing results. This was one of the most efficient power stations that we have had here at the lab. This thing was about 95% efficient in our testing, which is insane. It was able to charge pretty quickly as advertised from 0 to full in about 1 hour and 17 minutes. Its idle consumption was only about 10 watts per hour, meaning if you just went and turned on the AC inverter, so there's power at these plugs, but you're not using them. If you had something like a sump pump or a fridge plugged into here that comes on every once in a while, but not all the time, the inverter does waste power just sitting here idling, but it only wastes about 10 watts every hour, meaning if you had that on and you forgot about it, this thing would still last about 4 days, which is pretty good. And the last thing that we tried to test was the solar. And that was the only testing that didn't go as planned, which jumps us directly into what we don't like. So DJI says that this power station has a built-in MPPT, which basically just means the piece of technology that takes this solar power and helps it go into your batteries. They built one into this instead of needing an adapter. Most power stations that aren't DJI brand have that. It's just a standard thing. DJI, traditionally, you've needed an adapter that you plug into the SDC port to plug your solar panels into. And so in this case, they built the MPPT directly in, but they didn't give us a solar port anywhere on the power station. So you still need an adapter technically to plug into your plug right here. While it's nice that it's a smaller adapter, you don't need the MPPT externally, it's now in here. I think that there's really no value in building it in unless you're gonna give us like a normal XT60 solar plug connection, because you still need some form of adapter. And in testing our adapters, we actually fried all of them, because most of those adapters are really good at handling a little bit more voltage than they're rated for and putting it into your system. That's kind of their job. It's to keep your power within a safe range. The DJI one, we completely by accident had it plugged into the wrong solar panel, and it was just a little bit over what the wattage rating was for the adapter. And it actually just cooked the adapter, and now we can't get solar into it, and there's no plug. Great job building the MPPT in, but we still need an adapter, so that's kind of pointless. Give us a regular plug next time. We also didn't love that while you get more AC plugs, like regular wall plugs on the front of this, they're not really usable. Like you have one grounded, and then you have these 3 really, really tight together. And it's a very rare occurrence that you can plug something into this without it overlapping onto the next one, especially if you're a creator. You're gonna be plugging things in like MacBook bricks, something like a camera battery charger. Like there's nowhere to put this that doesn't completely hoop more than one plug, like there's just no way to do it. If you do it over here, you overlap a bunch of stuff. We got a bunch of plugs, but they're not really usable unless they're very specific things. A lot of plugs is great, but you're still gonna need a power bar if you're a creator or you're trying to do stuff like that. And then a couple little things like this unit is not expandable. DJI does sell expansion batteries, and their other power stations are expandable. So if you bought this and you realize you need a bigger battery, you can't just buy the expansion battery. You'd have to buy a whole new power station or another one or something, which kind of sucks. And the last thing with this 100-watt cable, While I actually really like this, and I think this makes a lot of sense for a lot of people, it's not 140 watts. Does that affect you? Probably not, unless you have like a super powerful laptop. But there are things out there that do charge at up to 140 watts, and you cannot charge them to their full potential with this, meaning this will slow down the charge rate of specific things like a really powerful laptop. Even something like a power bank like this, if you were gonna plug this in to charge it up, you're not actually gonna get the full input into this. It's gonna charge a little bit slower. So not a big deal, but just something to note. I think this is still a really awesome feature. So at the end of the day, who is this power station for? I think this is great for creators, tent campers, or like a small UPS desk application. So if you're gonna be working from home a lot, having this on your desk is gonna be a huge pro, especially if you're somewhere that's prone to power outages. If you're a creator, having the built-in plug, having access to power and a light and that kind of stuff, it is nice. It runs extremely quietly, so you could plug in all the studio lights, for example. You don't have to hear this thing making noise, which is cool. And obviously it's great, small, portable for camping and stuff like that. At the end of the day, it is a pretty good power station. We will leave links to it in the description down below, as well as any discount codes we can get to help save you guys some money. Otherwise, that is all we got for you guys. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already, and we will catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out and stay charged.